I can think of only one really enthusiastic crowd that would gather for Hillary Clinton. A grand jury. Boy, would I love to present that case. I mean, this, to me, as someone who has grown up in law enforcement, I am outraged at what I see. I am outraged at what I see. Crime after crime after crime after crime after crime after crime. These are not just unusual things that she did. These are not just stupid things that she did. These are not just accidental things that she did. This is a woman who has committed numerous serious federal felonies. She has lied under oath. She has lied to the public, and I have no doubt she lied to the FBI. Do they think we're stupid? Yes, they do. The Clintons have always thought we were stupid because we let them get away with it before. This is like a bad child, and you don't punish them for their first crime. And then they commit, boy, what they were doing back in Arkansas, whoa.
Holding Hillary Clinton to account. Senator Rand Paul has been aggressively pursuing that.
Recently, you launched a campaign to hold Hillary Clinton accountable for her crimes. How are you going to accomplish that?
We're all for it. I think an indictment would be a good idea, followed by a prison sentence.
Joining us now from Bowling Green, Kentucky, to elaborate, Senator Rand Paul. Okay, Senator, you're maybe the first, maybe the only U.S. Senator who said that she should be locked up. Why do you say that?
Well, you know, I'm a big believer in equal protection under the law. You know, whether you're rich or poor, white or black, everybody should be treated the same under the law.
This sounds like political presidential talk to me, and I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not, but I do get tired of seeing the country ripped off.
Why would you not?
I just don't think I really have the inclination to do it. I love what I'm doing. I really like it.
Also, it doesn't pay as well.
No, it doesn't. But, you know, I just probably wouldn't do it, Oprah. I probably wouldn't, but I do get tired of seeing what's happening with this country. And if it got so bad, I would never want to rule it out totally, because I really am tired of seeing what's happening with this country, how we're really making other people live like kings, and we're...
Some people, the ultimate goal in life has been becoming the President of the United States. Would you like to be the President of the United States?
I really don't believe I would run it, but I would like to see somebody as the President who could do the job, and there are very capable people in this country.
Why wouldn't you dedicate yourself to public service?
Because I think it's a very mean life. I would love, and I would dedicate my life to this country, but I see it as being a mean life, and I also see it as somebody with strong views, and somebody with the kind of views that are maybe a little bit unpopular, which may be right, but may be unpopular, wouldn't necessarily have a chance of getting elected against somebody with no great brain but a big smile. I ask them, Washington, I say, why are we defending Japan for nothing? They say, boy, I'll tell you what, I'm angry about it. They're angry for one day, and then they go on to something else. I will tell you, behind closed doors, they are laughing at the United States. They think we are the biggest fools, the dumbest people in the world. Because look at the way they're living. Look at the way we defend them. Look at the way we opened up the Persian Gulf. Most of the oil goes to Japan. We open up the Persian Gulf for Japan to get oil, for Saudi Arabia, for Kuwait to make money. Why aren't they paying us for this?
By the power invested me in WNET, I make you in charge. The Donald is running the show.
I've come a long way with you.
Would you do it?
I wouldn't want to do it. I tell you what, I do not want to. I don't know if we have the kind of advocate that you need. We need major surgery. This country needs major surgery.
Are you the surgeon?
Welcome back. There really is nothing new about the U.S. and Russia spying on each other. Decades of Cold War-era movies and books couldn't have existed without the idea of U.S.-Soviet espionage. But what appears to be Russia's attempt to expose Democratic Party emails and sabotage Hillary Clinton's campaign would be entirely new. If proven true, it's already claimed one victim, former Democratic Chairwoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. And WikiLeaks is promising there's more to come.
She exposed to all of our enemies some of the most secret information that we possess, which is the reason why it's redacted now. And even a senator like Senator Sessions can't get to see it because it's so secret. She exposed that on her server for China, for Russia, for Iran, for Al-Qaeda, for ISIS, or for any good hacker to get. And she put the lives of American operatives in jeopardy by doing that.
Well, joining me now is the founder of WikiLeaks, Julian Assange, who has been granted asylum at the Embassy of Ecuador in London. He is currently fighting extradition to Sweden because of rape charges, by the way, that he denies. Mr. Assange joins me now. Good morning, sir. Welcome to Meet the Press.
Good morning, Chuck. First, I'll have to, unfortunately, correct you for some sloppy journalism. I have not been charged with anything whatsoever, and I have already been previously cleared, and the UN has formally found this year that I am illegally detained in this embassy for the past 4 years.
We will correct the record and let your comments there speak for themselves.
Or perhaps potential email leaks or document leaks from Julian Assange.
Well, let's first of all deal with Julian Assange. You call him the editor-in-chief of WikiLeaks. This is a guy, he is speaking from the Ecuadorian embassy because he was to be extradited out of Britain on sexual assault charges and taken to Sweden, and he has sought asylum for 5 years in the Ecuadorian embassy, and the emails that he's trafficking in are stolen documents. They're ones that are hacked by the Russian government. They're ones that are stolen by Americans like Bradley Manning. So the idea that he would play a role in American politics is pretty distressing. This is a bad guy dealing and trafficking in stolen documents. Having said that, obviously, some of the documents turn out to be accurate, as we saw in the case of the Democratic National Committee. Depending on what he's able to reveal, it could be damaging to the Clinton campaign or not. I have to say, though, I find the whole idea that Julian Assange might play a role in American politics highly, highly distasteful.
So, and you rightly point out, there are those that say he's a criminal by fact. There are those that call him a crusader.
That Mrs. Clinton plans to, quote, run out the clock, largely ignoring these controversies until the voters go to the polls. But our next guest has other plans. He says his website, WikiLeaks, is set to publish information that will not be helpful to Mrs. Clinton, and it may force her to respond. Moments ago, we had a lengthy and fascinating conversation with Julian Assange, co-founder and editor-in-chief of WikiLeaks. He only agreed to speak to us from an undisclosed location since he is currently wanted for extradition by Sweden, and he's under investigation by the U.S. government, too, for his role in the largest leak of classified documents in U.S. history. Here is part one of that exclusive interview. Watch. Julian, thank you very much for being here. So let's start with the additional information you have regarding Hillary Clinton. When can we expect this information?
While we're working around the clock, we have received quite a lot of material, stimulated, of course, by the U.S. election process and by our major DNC revelation, which has now led to the resignation of 5 top officials in the DNC, including Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the president, the last one late last week. So, you know, it's a complex business what we do. We have to assess the veracity. We have a perfect 10-year record so far in never getting it wrong. We want to keep that reputation, understand how things should be formatted, what media we should be involved in, what is the best way to stage it out. Do we accumulate everything, assess it, publish it all in one batch, or do we do several batches? The approach that we've decided to take is that we do several batches.
But what, I mean...
The emails which were exposed by WikiLeaks revealed a very strong bias on the part of high officials in the Democratic Party for the candidacy of Hillary Clinton, and a very strong prejudice on the part of the same people towards the candidacy of Bernie Sanders, even though such bias and prejudice had been alleged by Sanders and denied by the Democratic National Committee. It even resulted in the resignation of the chair of the committee as a result of a unanimous request from the members of the committee and the intervention of President Obama himself. But in order to get this issue off the front page, the DNC and the Clinton campaign decided to blame, of all people, the Russians. They accused Vladimir Putin of being in cahoots with Donald Trump and having his intelligence services hack the DNC to expose emails to make Mrs. Clinton look bad and thereby benefit Donald Trump. But the Russians had nothing to do with it, because this week, a 30-year veteran of the National Security Administration, the NSA, the domestic spies who spy on all of us all the time, the former high-ranking NSA official who developed the software that the NSA now uses, which allows it to capture not just metadata, but content of every telephone call, text message, email in the United States of every person in the United States of America. This individual said, guess what? The NSA hacked the Democratic National Committee. Why would the NSA hack the DNC? Because the members of the intelligence community simply do not want Hillary Clinton to be president of the United States, because she doesn't know how to handle state secrets, because some of the state secrets that she revealed use the proper true names of American intelligence agents operating undercover in the Middle East. When they lost their covers, they ran for their lives, and some of them didn't run fast enough and lost their lives. It's very telling that the intelligence community would feel so strongly about Mrs. Clinton that they would attempt to sabotage her campaign to prevent her from becoming their boss. It's also telling that these folks would break American law in order to, in their view, save it. Welcome to my chambers.
For more of my life than I did anything else, I held the lowest position and one of the highest positions in the Justice Department, and I love the Department of Justice. I gave a lot of my life to it, prosecuted the mafia, prosecuted Colombian drug cartel people, prosecuted Wall Street criminals, prosecuted corrupt politicians of both parties, Republican and Democrat, by the way. I gave a lot of my life to the Justice Department, and my Justice Department now I am embarrassed of, and I believe it's been made into a disgrace by their refusal to handle the case against Hillary Clinton like they would handle the case against you. Back in the 20s and in the Nixon era, well, you couldn't destroy emails because there were no emails. And I guess Nixon just wasn't as shrewd as Hillary. He never destroyed those tapes. Nixon didn't destroy the tapes. He kept them. You know what the Clintons must be saying? What a jerk that Nixon was. You want to know how to really be a criminal? You destroy the evidence. The director of the FBI, although I disagree with his conclusion, I believe she should have been indicted. I agree with his findings, which is that she was extremely careless in handling top secret information. And now we are being asked to elect as our president someone who was extremely careless in handling national security information?
That Comey feels a little guilty about not indicting her, so therefore he spelled out for the American people so at least the voters can find out that she did lie many, many times to the public about whether or not she had classified email out there. You know, one of the classified emails that Judge Napolitano has pointed out was the schedule for Ambassador Stevens in the last 2 days of his life. You can understand why, you know, Ambassador Stevens wouldn't have wanted the jihadist to know where he was, when he was, and why that was inexcusable that Hillary Clinton would put that out there and not put it in a secure place.
You know, Hillary Clinton has just dug a hole for herself that now requires an indictment. Her response this past Sunday to Chris Wallace in an interview when he says that FBI Director Comey said none of the things Hillary told the American people were true says it all. Take a listen.
After a long investigation, FBI Director James Comey said none of those things that you told the American public were true.
Chris, that's not what I heard Director Comey say, and I thank you for giving me the opportunity to, in my view, clarify. Director Comey said that my answers were truthful and what I've said is consistent with what I have told the American people.
So the Target says the FBI director has characterized her answers to the FBI as truthful. Seriously, Hillary? That's not what the director says. But let's hear it from the director himself.
Secretary Clinton said there was nothing marked classified on her emails either sent or received. Was that true?
That's not true.
Secretary Clinton said I did not email any classified material to anyone on my email. There is no classified material. Was that true?
There was classified material emailed.
Secretary Clinton said she used just one device. Was that true?
She used multiple devices during the 4 years of her term as Secretary of State.
Secretary Clinton said all work-related emails were returned to the State Department. Was that true?
No, we found work-related emails, thousands, that were not returned.
Secretary Clinton said neither she nor anyone else deleted work-related emails from her personal account. Was that true?
That's a harder one to answer. There's no doubt that there were work-related emails that were removed electronically from the email system.
Secretary Clinton said her lawyers read every one of the emails and were overly inclusive. Did her lawyers read the email content individually?
No.
I am more than willing to predict when the history of our day is written, the scandal you are watching unfold is going to be like the Teapot Dome scandal was in the 1920s, and maybe bigger. It's going to be bigger than Watergate. Nixon had to leave office, and he did a lot of bad things, but he wasn't raking in millions and millions of dollars through a phony charity. I'm not sure how much money was involved in the Teapot Dome, but I bet it couldn't have been too much more than the hundreds of millions of dollars the Clintons have been getting and turning the State Department into a pay-for-play operation.